unregimented.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Imagine the greatest collection of real-life entertainment on the planet, all in one place. Go ahead. Dare to stream with Discovery Plus. Stream now. Stream what you love.
Christopher Media. Let's make some noise. From Asthma Core Studios near Detroit, Michigan. It's unregimented.
Gangsters, what's up, guys?
And now, here are your hosts.
All right, it's Tuesday, April 14th. I'm Chris.
I'm Aaron.
And I'm Rich.
We live in the United States, right? Correct?
Last time I checked, yeah. Why?
That's cool. Because I saw some shit the presser today. Good God, man. Like, this seemed like right
Really?
out of the North Korea playbook, man.
Stuff.
Yes, you saw the back end. The front end was where all the action was
today.
today.
I tuned in, and then Pence stopped up. I'm like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah, that's usually when the networks cut away. Oh, it's race banning, time to go. But
at least Pence is competent in showing, he's very robotic kind of in his mannerism, but he's really good at it. He talked today about losing his father, and he's one of those guys that, like, 32 years to the day on April 12th, my father passed away. And I'm like, I don't care how much I love somebody. There's no way, like, decades later, I'm still remembering that date they died. I don't understand those date dudes, but he is one of those dudes. But he used it as an opportunity to talk about loss, talking about all this stuff, talking about stuff that people are all over the world and all over the U.S. dealing with. And I was like, well, Jesus. At least we have some competence when it comes to just showing some basic human emotion.
Yeah, like
Pence is really good at that.
Yeah, that's usually the part of the briefing I want to watch. However, today, holy shit! Well, for start, it kicks off with Fauci going, "What the fuck?" to the press about his quote from yesterday.
Right. So Fauci's quote from yesterday being.
Where he was talked about if things were done, if moves had been made. Remind me. I'm trying to paraphrase here. Where if moves had been made prior, the body count will be less.
He said,
I'm paraphrasing him.
Of course, when you, I don't have the quote in front of me either, but it was something to the effect of course, when you act sooner, you're going to have less deaths.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then but what the press singled out and took out the of course and said, Fauci says, if U.S. acted sooner, less people would be dead. Yeah, so he goes off for like 5-10 minutes about how, I answered a hypothetical question, dipshits. They pretty much said that's not what I said. I was answering a hypothetical question. Then a reporter asks him,
which is it's a total gotcha question that he was asked too. I mean, fuck all the press that took his quote out of context and ran that as a headline, but double fuck the guy who asked the question in the first place. And Fauci, I mean, I don't blame him. He's not being in front of the press and doing news and all this isn't his primary job. I think a true politician wouldn't have answered that question. They don't answer hypotheticals. That's like a lawyer telling you, you're not going to get up on the stand and somebody asks you a hypothetical. You don't answer that shit. Mm-hmm. There's absolutely no reason to answer that. All it is a got you. All a hypothetical question is to illustrate the point of the person asking the question.
Yeah.
Not to get information out of the person that you're asking. You don't get any useful information from a hypothetical. And why are you talking hypotheticals? We've got a real-life pandemic here, and you've got a real-life doctor in front of you.
Because that's our press now.
Stop talking about hypotheticals. Talk about the real things that are happening right now.
Well, then...
Fucking asshole. So I get why Fauci would be pissed about that.
Yeah. Then a reporter asks him if he is saying all of this voluntarily or if it's because the president is making him say it.
Yeah.
He then looks like he's about to. Then he looks like he's about to short circuit.
His wife and kids are in the back. Like Trump's got a gun to their head.
Yeah, like my wife looks like she's about to cry.
Just read the cue cards, Fauci.
Yeah, just read the cue cards, Tony, and nobody gets hurt. Like, no, my wife looks like he's about to cry. I think he looks about to tell this person, "What the fuck did you just say to me?" He says for a moment, he
he says a sentence pretty much, gets out like, of course I'm doing this voluntarily. To me, it stops him short of himself saying, you're a fucking moron, and then he just walks away.
Which illustrates the fact that person, whoever asked the question,
that's your last day,
understood none of what Fauci had said up until that point.
Yeah.
And just out of curiosity, you're 100% positive this wasn't like a Howard Stern morning show type plant that got in there to ask these questions?
Somebody doing an impression? Is that what you're saying?
Somebody getting a
I'm not a big Stern listener.
Stern, he works for a radio station, or he works for, well, you know what I'm saying, whatever, a satellite radio station. They can get press passes. They're constantly getting press passes to shit they shouldn't, and then sending people in there to ask dumb questions.
No,
he's a presser troll. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. Like the guy who asked fucking Anthony Weiner if he was more than 7 inches.
I'd feel better if that were the case, but I don't think that is.
That's what I'm saying. I just want to make 100% sure, because this almost sounds like a Howard Stern bit. Like it really does.
This is the true case of Trump derangement syndrome. And I hate to use the phrase because it was coined as basically as a catch-all criticism of anybody who's going to say anything bad about their beloved president, right? You can't criticize Trump. You're just deluded. You can't see the good. But where the Trump delusional syndrome comes into place is when you, like this reporter, is being given facts straight from the person's mouth. He's telling you what he's thinking, what he was, why he said what he said, and you just can't believe it. You have it so set in your head that Trump can everything that he touches is rotten, that you can't believe the truth when it's in front of you. That's the real derangement of the left, of some of the left.
I mean, like asking Fauci, are you saying this of your own free will? It's not exactly like showing up at a pizza parlor with an AK-47 going, where's the children?
Fucking 12-year-old? Is this guy mentally handicapped?
But
you need to take him into a separate room in the back of the court and have him point to a doll where Trump touched him?
I mean, at a certain point, it's like, dude, are you serious right now? Seriously. Like, this is really, okay. Like, and here's the bigger thing. Like you pointed out, a rhetorical question or hypothetical question, yeah, it's not going to get anything out of it. And by asking the question, he's put it out there that, like, maybe Trump would do that. It's like, yeah, because even if he's being held against his will and forced to say this shit, you think he's going to break down right there and tell you?
By the way, Rich, CBS White House correspondent Paula Reed asked him that question.
Oh, jeez.
Are you doing this voluntarily? Everything I do is voluntarily, he replied, clearly insulted by the question. Please don't even imply that. And that's when he bounced. I mean, that's really, right?
And I don't
I'm starting to understand that.
I don't think that reporter understands how insulting that question is, though.
Yeah.
But you're asking a doctor.
Who's been for 5 presidents, by the way. This isn't Trump's guy.
She may as well have walked into her doctor's office, looked at the wall, and said, "Is this diploma real? Did you really graduate?
Right.
Do you even have a degree? What does the DR in front of your name even mean? Is that like a title, or do you have to be knighted?"
I think Adam Carolla right now. Are you a real doctor? Or are you a love doctor?
Yeah, that's the type of question she asked him. So I know that you're a doctor and that you dumped hundreds of thousands of dollars in a decade of your life into learning all of this shit, and now you're blessing us with your knowledge and presence. But do you actually know what the fuck you're talking about, or are you just a shill? Because I want to believe that you're a shill, because I really don't like the president that you're representing right now, and I think that everything he touches is evil. So if you're part of his administration and you're approving things that he's saying, then either Trump is right or you're a shill, and I can't make those two make sense in my head. So, are you a shill?
Almost saw the New York come out of Dr. Fauci. I was born in Brooklyn,
bitch. Throw a shoe at her. I would take my shoe off and whip it back. How do you like that?
I call this a reverse Bush. I throw a shoe at you.
It's a preemptive shoeing.
Oh, so then, God, this is the start. This is the first 10 minutes, by the way, gentlemen.
Always late to the party. Miss all the good shit.
This is the first quarter hour of this thing. Then, DJT gets up there and turns into Kim Jong-il. Jesus fucking Christ.
Did he turn his hat around backwards?
No, but just was like, it just starts calling out, like, it was kind of piggybacks on what Fauci does to just immediately just rip right into the press. Right into, it's like opening up with Whole Lotta Love if you're Led Zeppelin, right? Right into fake news. So
yeah. Sessions presents Trump's greatest hits featuring the press, the failing New York Times.
Yeah, no, yes, for real. Hit all the usual suspects. Then shows a 2-minute video that shows that illustrates his timeline of his response to the coronavirus. And unlike the North Korea videos, uses actual press clippings.
Yeah. His timeline.
Yeah. Uses
his version of it.
Yeah, but uses actual press videos to make himself look good. Like clips of Dr. Fauci from January talking about how this isn't a problem yet. Clips of other people who've talked shit about him, in January and early February, talking about how it's not a problem yet. And then, if you've been following the press briefing, the one thing that he did right and he knows he did right and that he is just riding it and beating it till he can't get any more life out of it is he loves talking about how he stopped travel to China. Because that's like it's the one thing he knows he did right. It's the one thing people are actually telling him he did right. So he that's one of his new hits, right? That's number one right now. That's going to be in the rotation later on, in 6 months. That'll be in the greatest hits in 2 years. So trots that out during this video. And man, like me and my wife were looking at each other the whole time, like the fuck are we? Like as if time, is this the time we live in right now isn't surreal enough, right? We got to throw this into it. Like what the hell are we watching? And like just like the rally, it's like you can't have the rally right now. This is a rally. This is all he can have as rallies right now, right?
Oh yeah. And they ain't costing him shit.
Yeah.
I mean, not that he's paying for the other rallies, but
like that's the only thing I could come out of that going, wow, why did that just happen? Like he can't get his rallies together right now, so now that we're plateauing and the numbers are looking like we're all not going to die, now we can go back into campaign mode. Like it truly was like the first half hour of the presser today. Part of me just wanted to clap, like, well done, like, wow.
Yeah.
Like you have.
And that's
I was bored all last week, and you brought me right back in week 5.
He's gone meta, and it works.
Like it was still going on when I came downstairs too. It was pushing 3 hours.
That's the whole reason that that Trump has been so involved with all this is because it's a daily opportunity for him to reinforce his timeline, his viewpoint. Fauci, Birx, and Pence even. These guys are doing their job and up there because they know that the people are going to need a constant stream of information, whether they choose to pay attention to it or not. It needs to be there when you do choose to. Yeah. You need to know that. I don't want to, I don't necessarily recommend for everyone reading the news every day because it's, it doesn't change that fast. But when you do choose to tune in and you're reading stories, White House quotes from 2-3 days ago, that doesn't work. You want to know that they're working on it now, that this is still actively forefront on the minds of our leaders.
Our dear leader. But
whereas, with Trump, it's just business as usual. The only thing that's forefront on his mind is himself.
Yeah. So, that's today's presser.
So, did you happen to listen to Adam Carolla's show from today?
I did.
So, Prager was on there, and he said something interesting, and I wish I could remember. I should have written this down. They did a poll somewhere, and they broke down the poll results by liberals and conservatives, and they asked, if people had what would be your preference if you could choose a situation, if you could, control the world. would it be that we get this, if you only had two choices, right? This is would you rather for liberals. They were asked, would you rather have less deaths in the country, meaning that we got a hold on this early and it was relatively okay, and we were able to recover it from it nicely. And that also means that Trump gets reelected.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember this.
Versus more deaths, millions of people dead, and Trump doesn't get reelected. In this poll, half of the people that identified as liberals said just picked just half. Like it was like 50-50. Doesn't matter which half I was going to say.
Then they're showing their cards. For them, it's just about being right. Because if it was
rather have, and so at that point, then you clearly have to believe that Trump, another 4 years of Trump is going to mean millions of people will die. I'd have to believe that. I would have to think that we would have to face some sort of total disaster, Holocaust that just takes out 5 million people at once. We'd have to be thinking about some type of an event like that we could possibly even begin to do that human algebra of going, how many deaths are okay now in order to prevent. I mean, the type of mental gymnastics that you have to do. And again, this is the derangement syndrome. You just can't make those two things make sense in your head. So, no, Trump has got to go, no matter what the cost, because he is the ultimate danger to this country.
Yeah.
It's kind of insane.
Hasn't that been that way since the day after the election in 2016?
Well, the rhetoric has been there, absolutely, yes. But people talk a lot, and who knows if this really, certainly if depends on who those million people are, right? Oh, it's one of those million people are your grandma that's going to die. Oh, suddenly 4 more years of Trump doesn't look so bad. But if it's a million people that I don't know and will never meet, and I don't even have to go to their funerals, I'd rather have Trump out of the White House.
But once again, this is the party that's supposed to care about people? Really?
Yeah,
okay.
Man. Yeah, I agree with you that it's always.
This is why I can't. This is why I'm. Call me a moderate. Call me a centrist. I'm fine with that because I see how vile you can both be on both sides, just to spite each other, and seeing it in this situation. Seriously, how many times have you heard Bill Maher say on his show? This is one of the things I was like, are you? Like, I want to smack the shit out of out of him every time we say it. We need a recession to get Trump out of the White House. So people need to die and lose their jobs so Trump can go. Really, Mr. I'm a liberal. I'm so enlightened. I'm an intellectual. I care about people. We're the Democrats. We want to help all people. I don't even consider those people Democrats. Those people are just fucking deranged, and they got the right to vote because of what country they were born in. But no, I saw it. We all saw it under Obama too. This isn't anything new. I mean, it really isn't. It's just it's gotten to this point where I can't believe they got people actually to admit that. I mean, I guess it's technically It's not like they're taking your name and social security number and shit and
Yeah. Does it seem like each generation gets pettier? Like we were pettier than the generation before us, and the people after us are pettier than we are.
I think the reason shit is the way it is because we know everybody's fucking most minute bullshit does not matter thought because of fucking social media. Honestly, I think people
what's the phrase? It's best to keep your mouth shut and let people think you're stupid, then open it and prove it.
And remove all doubt. Yeah,
remove all doubt. Thank you.
But no, I mean
So people have removed all doubt as to when people were more conservative in the way of we don't talk about politics and religion and when we have company over and we don't proselytize our beliefs and get involved in movements and all that stuff. Then we could just believe we could impose our own beliefs. We could look at somebody and go, "That's a clean-cut guy. He looks like a decent chap. He looks pretty liberal, or he looks like he's a Republican." you would just make it. Now everybody's got their opinions out there, and you know full well what they support and why and the reasons why they support it. I think people have always, we're more informed than ever. We're more informed than previous generations, and that doesn't necessarily mean that we make better decisions with that information, but we at least have the more opportunities to make better decisions. So the chances are there. So I don't necessarily buy into that idea that we're like more cynical or jaded, and that this is like a progressive thing. I don't think we're more cynical or jaded. I think it's just more openly out there. That's it. Yeah.
People have always been been this way and felt this way. This is nothing new. It's just they kept it to their fucking selves.
Well, they also had an excuse for ignorancy because I'm just gonna roll with it. They didn't have all this bounty of information. They had whatever their local paper chose to report on, and so they didn't have all the information. So they were a lot of times making decisions purely from ignorance, not ignorance not being a mental condition of the brain, but just a state in which it doesn't have enough information to make proper choices.
Oh yeah, if you've only had the lens of your local media,
right?
And now all of a sudden it's
and the boys at the bar, which all read the same paper, so.
Now all of a sudden it's shifted to the lens of the entire world.
Unregimented.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Imagine the greatest collection of real-life entertainment on the planet, all in one place. Go ahead. Dare to stream with Discovery Plus. 55,000 episodes from networks like TLC, HGTV, Food Network, and more. If you can dream it, you can stream it. See what I did there? Discovery Plus. Stream now. Stream what you love.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Unregimented.
So there's some other weird things that happened in this press conference too. I caught the tail end of Trump's Q&A section.
Real quick, I just wanted to ask: did anybody get on the stage at any point with their shirt off, with soy bomb painted on their chest, and started dancing wildly?
It's coming this week. They're gonna Friday. I heard that's a rumor.
Okay,
soy bomb.
We're gonna go into the week. Yeah, but was it the Grammys that happened?
Yes. That guy hopped on stage while Dylan was performing, and he had painted soy bomb on his chest, and everyone thought it was some Dylan artsy fartsy thing, and he was like, "No, I was up there like, is someone going to come get him before he blows himself up along with me? It says bomb on him. What are you waiting for?" It just turned out to be some artsy fartsy performance artist, but it sounds like that kind of out of control, retarded. But go ahead.
Yeah, today was Monday. Today was Monday.
At some point this week, we're gonna have a streaker.
Yeah. Was this like not getting pussy and in the build up? Like they just had to have.
And it looks like there's a cat in the White House press briefing room.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's climbing up the American flag right now. Pence is trying to shake it off.
A dog's gonna get loose in the press room sometime this week. Right. This is Monday. What else do they have planned?
Fauci's 35-year-old stays in his basement bum of a son, comes out wearing a bathrobe. Dad, where's the remote?
Check out my band.
Are we live? Hey, go to www.
.bandcamp.
Yeah. So okay. So weird things. Yes. Yeah. During the Q&A session, someone was trying to get an answer out of Trump of how the response is going to be structured, because we have Mike Pence's team, his task force, and which is great. I always picture it like in the Transformers logo. It's such a great word, task force. They don't get to use it enough. So they have that, and then there's this other thing that Jared Kushner's involved in, because Jared's just like that fucking dipshit kid whose parents have to get him involved in like everything. He's like in every club in school. He plays sports. He wants to, and his parents have just told him like he is just good at everything. Everything that you do, you can do whatever you want. And so he's got to be on every fucking committee. So now we have Jared's task force and we have Pence's task force. So the question is, do they operate concurrently and how does that work? Does one have authority over the other? Is this a tiered structure? Of course, Trump can't answer a question directly or at all.
No.
And so it's like, well, we're going to have, there's the Pence's task force and Jared's task force. They're going to communicate with each other, and then we're going to have a lot of committees, a lot of committees, religious leaders committees. I'm like, wait, back up. I mean, he did list like economic committees, health committees. We're going to have committees for hospitals. We're going to have religious leaders. I'm like, why do we need religious leaders to weigh in on this at all?
Because
as a matter of fact, they've been nothing but fucking trouble for all I can see. All they're telling is people to gather around. Not all of them, but there's been a lot of high-profile ones that are saying, hey, fuck this. Break quarantine. Come into the church. Let's all gather. Let's all hug. Or if you are staying at home, mail order my special silver juice. It's going to kill whatever ails you.
Yeah.
You
guys are fucking idiots.
What?
They're assholes.
What?
They should be charged with crimes.
Why do we need to hear from religious leaders? We should have a charitable committee that religious leaders can be part of.
Because they're big taxpayers. Oh, wait. No, they're not. So, yeah, why the fuck do we need to hear from them?
Vote mobilizers. They make up for, people in the voting booth and what they don't pay in taxes.
Cool. I always love that. So there was that one, yeah. And then I guess
he also talked about. Oh, wait a minute, we're not done with that. All right. Were you going to move on to Whitmer? Because I do want to talk about that. As well.
but please go ahead, man. It was action packed today.
There was one more that I wanted to point out. So Trump was asked about. I can't remember his name, but there was some big real estate tycoon in New York that. I mean, he was old as dirt anyway, and coronavirus took him out this week. And so somebody asked Trump about it. And it's another one of these, like, here's a nice straight across the plate, nice even pitch. Like, all you got to do is just swing that bat. The reporter this is the total gimme. And he just can't execute basic human emotion. he can't do it at all. He's, I knew him well. It was a big deal in New York. Lots of real estate all over Brooklyn. And when he found out that his friend from New York became president of the United States, he was very proud of him. That's what you have to say about this man. That was the best he could come up with. That he was really excited to hear that Trump had become president.
Because Donnie's always got to tie it back to him, right? And that's how he is.
That's it.
He's always tying it back to him.
He could, because he couldn't come up with a fact, right? Like Pence would get up there and say, "Oh, I met him numerous times. We're very close. My heart goes out to his wife, Florence, and his two children, and his dog Toto, and." He was a captain of his industry, and he would be able to talk about the person. And Trump has no idea. He doesn't know. He probably doesn't know if this guy was married, unless he was married to a 23-year-old with double D's and blonde hair. Trump doesn't even remember another person being around him.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how the guy works.
Trump only remembers the trophy wives, and that's so he can scoop in. He can swoop in there when they get dumped.
Move like a bitch.
Hey, you done with that hot little number I saw you at Hefner's place with, ready to pass around?
Take her out, buy her furniture, seal the deal.
Yeah, moved in like a bitch. Who does that? Like, nobody's ever said that. Like, it makes no sense.
That was part of the head scratching beauty of the whole situation. Like, this is locker room talk, but this is the worst pussy ass locker room talk I've ever heard. Moved like a bitch.
Like that was the gotcha evidence of, we told you he's a total creep. And I'm like, this is further evidence that he doesn't know how to put two sentences together to make a point. Like the only reason we knew what he was talking about is because he was acting so creepy when he was saying it.
Sorry.
Like honestly, if all we ever saw was a transcript, you'd be like, I don't know what he's talking about. He's helping women move a couch or something.
Yeah.
And apparently it's a bitch to move. I don't know. It's crazy.
I moved her into her apartment like a bitch. Totally threw my back out. You know what I mean. Carrying the lazy boy.
I don't move furniture. I'm rich. All right, so Michigan, huh? Governor Whitler. Which, by the way, she likes that red lipstick, huh? Like,
does she? I haven't really...
I mean, like red, like Cubase red. Like red. Like someone...
I really don't... I don't have a lot of... I've seen pictures of her. That's it. I'm struggling to think if I've ever seen her, actually heard her speak.
She sounds like every Midwest woman you've ever heard.
Yeah. Oh, no, wait. I'm sorry. Yeah, I have heard her on, like, listening to NPR. They'll have quotes from her. But I've never... I don't think I've ever actually watched her while she was speaking. It doesn't matter. I know her voice. I've seen her face.
Her terrible press conferences, though.
I've never put the two of them together to see them work, so I don't have a full picture of what she's like.
Her press conferences, though, are a bit hilarious in the fact that she's acting like there's a press corps there asking her questions when it's clearly questions that you picked out before. You're just having people in the camera person asking them. Because you can't have people in the room right now, right? So she's still trying to keep the ruse of people asking her questions after she makes her statements.
Yeah. Well, she's got a couple people. I mean, there's space from her, but she's got the ASL person in there and somebody else next to her. She looks like Debbie Mazar. She's wearing like fake alligator skin shirt or some kind of pattern.
Oh, but her stylist has got her on this just really red lipstick kick, and it's noticeable.
Yeah,
like they're trying to make it like her trademark or something like that.
Totally they're going for vamp.
Yeah, but everyone's pissed at her. And
they're going for would have shopped at Hot Topic, but it wasn't open when she was got.
Right.
But now she has a real job. Mm-hmm. That's the look they're going for.
Yeah, there's a Cure record in her past, perhaps.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So people are going to protest her. They're going to go. They're all going to get arrested right away. They're all going to. Allegedly, there's a protest plan in the Michigan Capitol, April 15th, about her extended stay-at-home order.
It's not even going to be like a protest if you don't have a permit to gather somewhere. Then eventually you get big enough, and then the cops come and they're going to break you up, right? But during a lockdown like this, nobody's going to be waiting for like 5 or 8 people to gather. Like as soon as you start clustering together, they'll just pick you off. Yeah. Not literally like with a gun, but just
you never know.
Okay, here's where they said they're going to protest. Like unless everybody meets in a secret location and then travels as a pack together to their protest location, they're just going to show up one by one. And the police will be like, "Come with us. Are you here to protest? Okay, well, come with us.
Hey, man, you been outside lately?
We've got a place for you all to meet.
There is no secret location right now. You'd be noticed immediately if there's like more than 2 of you together."
Exactly. Like, how do you organize this and even get a big enough gathering together of people to protest at any given time? When you can build it naturally, you do it, when there's another event going on and you're protesting, you can easily congregate people together and make a plan. There's no way. It's going to be 0% effective, 100% hilarious. I hope they announced a location for this protest?
I just know it's supposed to be in Lansing. My guess is probably outside the state capitol. I mean,
there you go. We'll set up a camera, and we'll just watch them walk up and get arrested over and over again.
Yeah,
and then put them all on a list.
Yeah, protest at state capitol. So there you go. And I don't understand it. Do you think she's gone too far? What? She wants to make sure we all live. We did this yesterday. I'll do it again. But It blows my mind. The next person that says tyranny gets slapped by me.
Did she actually say anything new in her address today, or was it just basically reiterating everything, all the actions that have been taken up until now?
Well, no, today she said something Rich liked.
I feel like we're a bunch of kids and we're in trouble. And finally, she just went full on parent. She was like, "If you're mad about your situation, you're mad that the stay at home order got extended. You're mad that we haven't moved on to the next phase, that we're not further down the timeline than you think we should be. Then you can be mad at me. That's fine." And I'm like, well, at least someone's acting like an adult in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, she totally mommed him. It was like, you can be mad. You're just going to be mad in your room.
Yeah, pretty much. Be mad in your room with no TV. And actually, come on, we've all been sent to our room with TV.
Yeah, she's like, don't make me cut off your internet.
Oh, there was a threat of that today with the wind. Oh, the power flicked off for like 30 seconds today.
Oh, yeah, the winds were hitting high, and I was like, oh, my God. Fuck the power, if just the internet goes out, there's going to be rioting in the streets.
Yeah, it'll be Mad Max in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Middle-aged men with raging hard-ons running around holding a laptop in one hand and a machete in the other, going, "Where am I going to get my sexual gratification?"
Yeah, there's a South Park episode like that where like society breaks down and internet is a commodity. Like Randy travels to a town and they find like I hear there's internet in that town over there. So they go in search of the internet. It's in like one shack with a line of dudes like waiting to get in there.
Right. Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah. But back to Whitmer. Like I'm reading from Channel 4's website here. I just never in my life fathomed that I would live in a place where my government told me what I could and couldn't buy at a store. It's bizarre.
They do it all the time.
Says Matt Seeley of the Michigan Conservative Coalition.
There's so many regulations on what you can and cannot buy at a store.
Yeah.
That is so vague, first of all. Which store are we talking about? What goods? How much? To whom? How many of? What age are they? Yeah, that's all the government does.
Oh, they're going to maintain social distancing. They're going to sit in their cars as they How the fuck is this going to work?
They're all going to sit in their cars. They're going to have a drive-in.
First of all, if they're offering curbside pickup, all right, and they're just like, we just don't want you going in. If it's really about getting something you need and not about going, well, I don't want to sit in my fucking house. I'm bored. I want to get out and I want to go talk to people and do shit that I'm not supposed to do.
Tough shit.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Right. Well, a lot of this is like about big box stores and stuff that sells, stores like Meijer that sell everything. They said, you can remain open, but we want you to block certain areas of your store so we don't encourage people to shop for those things. Specifically, I actually have it here in front of me. There's 4 sections of your store that if you have a section, not just, a little area, but a whole section of it, carpet and flooring, furniture, garden centers and plant nurseries, and paint. So
one more time,
carpet or flooring, furniture, garden centers and plant nurseries, and paint. Yeah. So Meijer has a paint aisle. They got to knock that thing off.
You know what she's trying to do? They're trying to discourage because a lot of the stuff going around on social media is, a lot of the jokes, one of the things people are running out of things to do or they're running out of home improvement projects to do. So I can see she's trying to discourage people from going to the stores to do that shit because they're stuck in their house and they're bored going, well, let's do all these projects I've had on my honey-do list for 9 years.
Yeah, we're not supposed to go anywhere, so let me find out things to do that involve going places.
Yeah. Well, it's like you were saying yesterday, when you do any kind of home improvement project, do you ever go just once?
God, no.
Yeah.
God, no.
So that's what she's trying to do, but apparently tyranny! whatever, idiots. To just recall, I'm making it. Like, this whole thing has taught me I'm not as Republican as I thought I was.
Unregimented.
ChristopherMedia.net.
If you're looking for COVID-19 testing, look into Quest, the lab that's processed over 25 million tests and counting. You can get the same test hospitals use without a doctor visit. Simply order online, select from drive-through or at-home options, and get results sent securely to your phone or computer. It's experience and accuracy you can trust from Quest, the largest medical testing lab in the country. So order today at questcovid19.com. That's questcovid19.com.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Unregimented.
So that list I found from a Snopes article that was fact-checking. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer banned the sale or purchase of American flags during the COVID-19 pandemic, which they are rating as false.
She hates America.
And citing where it came from as, because there's a picture. So Pure Michigan Girl tweeted out on April 11th, "No buying flags in Michigan." This is Costco. American flag, American flag, American flag emoji. And then the picture is a bunch of American flags on display with caution tape roped around, because these American flags are outdoor flags and they are in the, yes, that's right,
patio
lawn
section.
and garden
Yes.
center. Yes, very good, very good.
And I don't even have the picture in front of me.
That's right.
And I've been drinking.
So, yeah. So, yes, you saw there were American flags that you couldn't buy at this time. Oh, my God. What are you going to do?
Oh, my God. We can't buy something I wasn't going to buy anyway. Oh, no.
Yeah. Why were you shopping for an American flag right now? I mean, first of all, that's a big one, so it's probably would go on your pickup. And if you're putting a flag on your pickup, your old one must be pretty fucking tattered, because they never look in good shape. Like, there must be almost nothing. It's probably unrecognizable. If you can see like 10 stars and 2 stripes, that counts as an American flag for putting it on your flying it from your pickup, apparently.
And there's this other thing that's going around. She's tanking the economy on purpose. What kind of special ed bullshit is that?
Hey, what's the easiest way to make sure you don't get reelected?
Right?
The surefire way to make sure that I don't have to do this job anymore. I know.
Historic job loss.
I'll tank the economy.
Yes. Job loss like we've never seen. That'll get me reelected.
Yes. When we're sitting there in the governor's mansion going, if I can keep this state on lockdown for another couple months, I can retire early.
Yeah.
Boy, you got her figured out, don't you?
Like, this shit just blows my mind that this is coming out of people like on the right. Like, you have lost your mind.
Like, all these things are being done, yes, because we don't want people to die, but also because we don't want the economy to crumble. And if we have massive death, and if we have a pandemic that we can't get our hands around, the economy will crumble.
You know what's really bad for the economy? Everybody dying. That's the worst thing for the economy.
Yeah. How about 18 months of nobody leaving their house or being afraid to touch another person? That'll fucking ruin the economy, like, permanently.
You know what I also find interesting is that most of the people I see that are on YouTube or some, making videos about, we need to open the country back up. There's going to have to be an acceptable number of deaths, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, oh, okay. And then you watch them a little bit more, and then like someone in the comment section will be like, "Hey, does this asshole work from home, or does he actually leave the house? Is he considered unessential worker?" And it turns out the vast majority of these people are people that work from home and would continue to work from home until their company decided it was absolutely safe to bring them in. And I'm like, oh, of course you guys are for opening the country soon, because you're going to keep your ass at home until your fucking job tells you to come in. You're not out here fucking around with this shit right now. You're not out here going, well, it's just a matter of I'm getting sick. I just don't know when or how bad it's going to be.
But yeah, I mean, also, just because you have the opportunity to work from home and you're lucky not to lose your job at this time,
doesn't mean that you're not still nervous about that, because the worse the economy gets, the more that's going to positively affect your job now.
Yep.
I want the economy back up and running as fast as possible, because the less people out there to buy products by a certain brand that I almost mentioned, the less work I'm going to actually end up getting in the long run. Be less products to work on.
Oh.
But certainly not at the cost of anyone's life.
But, tyranny.
I mean, okay. That's that taxation is theft bunch. And all I got to say is, you had your chance for maybe a 12 to 24 hour period. You maybe had enough people scared to where you could get some kind of boogaloo, Civil War II electric boogaloo going. Maybe just for a split second you could have got that seed to take hold in someone's mind, but then you sat around bitching about, they're going to close the government, they're going to close the country down, and the economy's going to fucking tank, and now no one cares.
Yeah.
But now we're past it. Now we realize as long as the Wi-Fi still works, we're pretty fucking, we're pretty hurtable as long as we have streaming. That's about it.
Absolutely.
Well, honestly, don't fuck with my memes.
Yeah.
Chris, do you know that that's an actual term that they use, the electric boogaloo?
Really?
Have you heard this? Yes, it's code word. So Civil War II is something that gets talked about.
Wait, did we do something about this?
Forums.
Yes, we did.
And have we talked about it? Okay.
Yeah. Ironically, Chris was the one who brought it up the first time, because I was like, when he said it, I was like, oh, you've heard that? Because I'd only seen like a handful of people ever post about it, and it was always like the really fringe, like, crazy type. You know what I'm saying? He's like in a group that I'm in, so I'm like, oh, okay.
I think it was back when I was still diving down Twitter rabbit holes, and I've since stopped doing that.
Yeah, it was definitely a while ago.
Those are never fun. Aaron can attest. Those are horrible. Sometimes they're great. Sometimes they're awful. Most of the time, they're awful. So, yeah, good times today.
Well, hasn't there, I mean, I know that, like, blood and guts and misery sells, but hasn't there been, like, more breaks in the clouds? Like, hey, this is, the, second, third day in a row that the numbers haven't increased.
CDC actually came out and said we are officially plateauing. And and we should start seeing declines in the next few weeks. So.
Yep. Yeah, one of the chart that Bricks was looking at showed, well, she had to take New York out of it, because when you looked at all the states, it was just like this huge curve way above everything else. So in order to get some perspective, they took New York out of the equation and just looked at all the individual, not states, but metro areas overlaid with each other. And you could actually see that Detroit was one of the areas, and I think Philadelphia was another one, that's starting to plateau. And there were some other areas, I think the Chicago area, they said that they were seeing still an uptick in it. But overall, most of the metro areas are starting to plateau.
Well, the thing that it keeps being said by all the experts is it's really affected. I mean, obviously, if you see one of those charts you're talking about, you can tell it's really affected the coastal cities. It's moving inwards to the center of the country. What they hope will slow the progress is just how much space naturally is between people out there versus, Chicago, New York, even Detroit to an extent, the metro areas. But at the same time, I'm like, but you also have a lot of, I don't believe that, hooey.
Yes.
That government's 5G. You ain't getting me with that 5G.
Right. And so another thing that the CDC was reporting on was that they highlighted the top 4 metro areas that were most effective in their response to this, meaning that they were doing the social distancing and all the preventative stuff, and we're getting ahead of it. And she listed, despite the fact that they have this huge number of cases, but they're also densely populated. New York was one of the areas that was listed as one one of the most effective at implementing the. I don't know. I'm losing my words here. What am I trying to say?
Implementing the social distancing and
the social distancing and all that stuff. Yes, yes.
Well, the state of Michigan, as a state.
Wait, one sec though. So it was New York, it was Seattle, it was New Orleans, and it was San Francisco, right? So what is similar about all those? Those are all pretty liberal places. And again, because you had mentioned it getting to the section of the country that says, I don't believe in that hooey, or like what Michael Shea said on SNL over the weekend, black people don't go to the doctor. So in the areas of like white middle class, probably have health care, fairly well educated, and believe the media and still believe in science, that's why New York, Seattle, New Orleans, and San Francisco are better at fighting this.
Oh, I was just going to say that they're I don't believe that shit bar is much higher in the urban areas than it is or not the urban areas, but in the major cities for the most part than it is out in the country. But then I thought about the videos I've seen of the block parties going on in Brightmoor, Southwest Detroit, East Side Detroit. I have just 50, 60 people passing 40s around, blunts. Yo, what's up? What's up? Brothers don't get corona. Hey, don't let the government lie to you. And I'm like, well, there you go.
I saw a meme in my Facebook from one of the few black people I'm friends with. It talked about black people think quarantining means chilling with people you only chilling with people you know. Like,
right.
Yeah, but that's the same thing.
Not getting corona is like dealing a little weed. Like, just don't sell it to strangers.
It's the same thing when you go into the country, because it's just going to be maybe 25-minute drives instead of a walk around the block to go see Ray Ray. They're going to see Brenda Gale 20 miles down the road, so they're going to be all right.
Yeah,
I know Brenda.
That's not Ray Ray. It's Billy Ray.
Never gave me nothing.
It's not Ray Ray. It's Billy Ray. Rich.
It's all the same, isn't it? After Old Town Road, it just proved that.
There you go.
What's
we need to make the meme, the meme of the two arms doing like clasping together. You know what I'm talking about? Well, it kind of looks like they're arm wrestling.
Son of a bitch. Yeah, it's from.
But one will say Ray Ray and one will say Billy Ray, and then the middle will say disbelief in the media. Yeah. Trust in the media.
Well, it's all poverty, right? It's all rooted in being broke.
Or not going to the doctor would also fit in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah, it is about being broke.
It's like that episode of Black Jeopardy where Tom Hanks played.
Oh yeah.
The MAGA hat wearing Trump supporter, and found out we got a lot in common.
Yeah. But right, it's kind of almost a generational thinking that obviously the system is broke, right? Why would you trust the system and the man and the government, whoever, to take care of you, to actually do something with you? Your life is living proof that they don't care.
That's dark.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you grow up in abject poverty, whether it's in inner city or in the Appalachians. It doesn't matter. You don't have trust in the government because you don't see their effect on you on a daily basis.
Which doesn't make any sense because
they're the ones in most need.
There are more poor white people on welfare than any other colored people in this country. Yes, I understand it's just a numbers game. There's more white people. I get it, but
yes.
I don't trust the government to take care of me, but they better not cut off my food stamps.
Yeah.
Okay.
But in the inner city, black people in the inner city, or any minority in the inner city, is more likely to find ways to make money on the black market than try and rely off of unemployment. What? You're going to make me beg? I got to go and I got to call you every week and to make sure that I get my money. You're going to make me constantly come to you with my hand out? Fuck that. I'll make my own living.
Hey, you don't have to call anymore. You just do it online now. It's great. Every Monday morning. Every two Monday mornings. Just do.
I got to get a computer.
Cell phone, son.
I got to use my minutes.
Get $60 unlimited everything.
Hey, we got you as
there will always be an
excuse.
Blowjobs. Any barrier there will be an excuse for, because there's already a structured way of living that will take you away from, being a tax-paying, wage-earning citizen. In the inner city, you have this I got to jump all these hurdles to get assistance, to get money. I got to, belittle myself. I got to ask for help. Or Ray wants me to join his gang. He wants me to sell his drugs. He said, let's make some fucking money. They want me to do that. I don't have to belittle myself. I don't have to put my hand out and ask for a favor.
Well, true, and Ray will get you money today, whereas the government will get you money in 3 weeks.
Yeah, so you manage to get unemployment and you get 6 months, and then that dries up, and then what? So I don't know. I'm not defending this this thinking. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I just say, I can understand why people do think this way. I get it.
I'm just sitting here smiling.
I wish it was
everything you're describing, I've heard hillbillies from the deepest dark South say the same thing.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
You think I'm going to go in there and fucking ask? I ain't ever been on no government assistance. You think I'm gonna go in there and ask?
Pride. That's pride.
I'll find a way to feed my fucking family. And then all of a sudden, cue, just some good old boy.
Yeah. Do we really need the exploding arrows?
That's it. Breaking Bad was just the Dukes of Hazzard updated with meth.
Yeah,
and without a really cool. They went what's the antithesis of a Charger? Ooh, a Pontiac Aztek.
Yeah.
Give Walter White a Pontiac Aztek.
Hey, my wife says there's shiners in her family.
What did the doctor say? Doctor said his lung cancer, terminal. Oh, damn. Let's go driving. Yeehaw! Yeah.
Oh. All right, see, there you go. There's a way to end the show, on a yeehaw. That is a fitting ending for the show, considering what we started it with. Yeehaw! It's Monday, everybody.
This whole country is in that slow motion. The general is in the air, and it doesn't look like it's going to actually land. We're stuck in that point. We've left the fucking ramp.
Oh, where they stop it?
And we're hoping there's some good road on the other side.
Yeah, right now we're at the part where it stopped, and the narrator goes, "Will the Duke Boy make it? Tune in next week."
Right. Now you might ask yourself, how did they get themselves in a situation like this?
Exactly. That's what we're.
Well, old Boss Hogg had a hair up his butt.
Yeah. Trump in a Boss Hogg outfit.
Yeah. So tune in next week to see if we land this one. Or next month, I should say.
Yeah, which it sounds like we might. Tony's out there saying Tony was even saying today there's parts of the country that could actually in the next month or so start rolling out, getting things back to normal. But hey, until then, we're gonna be here podcasting every Monday through Friday. Thanks to the new listeners, thanks to the old listeners. More and more listeners every day. We see you. We're on Twitter at UnregimentedPod, on Instagram at Unregimented, email unregimented@ChristopherMedia.net, which is where there's an Amazon banner. There is a PayPal button if you want to throw us a couple bucks just because. And then, too, we are on Spreaker.com, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, ChristopherMedia.net. Anywhere there's a podcast, you can listen to us. And, too, if you can rate us. If you can review us. We would appreciate it. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you tomorrow.
See ya.
Later, guys.
unregimented.
ChristopherMedia.net.
For the ones who know that a little late is always too late. And that the clock doesn't stop just because you're missing a part. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry. And our Keep Stock inventory management solutions help ensure you have the right stuff in the right place at exactly the right time. Visit Grainger.com/keepstock to learn more. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Imagine the greatest collection of real-life entertainment on the planet, all in one place. Go ahead. Dare to stream with Discovery Plus. Stream now. Stream what you love.
ChristopherMedia.net.
If you like this show, please tell a friend. Please make sure to rate and comment on all your favorite Christopher Media shows. Please follow us on Twitter and like and share us on Facebook. You can subscribe to all ChristopherMedia.net shows for free on ChristopherMedia.net. Thank you for listening, and thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.